Okay, so you still have limiting beliefs. I'm going to tell you exactly what worked for me. So this is a tried and tested method and how you can implement it to achieve your goal times. So whether you're training for 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon, ultramarathon, doesn't matter. This applies. What is the pace right now that you can run? If you go out there tomorrow and run a kilometer as fast as you possibly can, what is the pace that you're going to achieve? So a lot of people ask me in the comments, I currently run 25 minutes for 5K, but I can't get it right for the marathon. Currently run this for the 10K, but I can't get it right and I'll run an ultramarathon. It's all a matter of training, and it's all a matter of speed endurance, and it's all a matter of your endurance, your stamina to be able to go long and basically sustain the pace that you want to sustain for longer periods of time. So if your goal is a 2:48 marathon, I'm going to say this simply and work it out in kilometers so it's easy maths. Kilometer pace is 4 minutes per kilometer for a 2:48 marathon. So when I started running and I started to run faster intervals, I realized that 4-minute pace it's a nice round figure. It's 240 seconds, it's 4 minutes, and I got to that pace pretty quickly within about 2 months. My thinking became, because I was invited to an ultramarathon and all of a sudden the world of ultramarathons I didn't even know existed, but it became apparent to me, I all of a sudden had so much confidence that this is the path that I wanted to be on. I wanted to be a professional runner, that I was trying to find out where I could be most successful. And so I chose the 100K very, very quickly. And my thinking was as simple as this: if I can hold right now 4-minute pace for a kilometer, for 2 kilometers, it's only a matter of training that I can hold this for 100 kilometers. And that came true for me. And I literally ran 4 minutes and 1 second per kilometer for 100 kilometers. So how does this apply to you? So if you're currently, your PBs look something like 25 minutes for 5K, just 5 minutes per kilometer, 10K and a little bit more because it's not just double, and otherwise you'd be able to run a faster 10K. Half marathon is a bit slower. How do we calculate our marathon time? The typical off the internet search would tell you that your marathon time estimate should be double half marathon plus 7 minutes. Whoever did that calculation is talking about very, very well trained athletes, and that is around about right if we're talking about that. But how does it apply to you? So if you are at the point where you can run a 5-minute kilometer already, and I promise you, you're just scratching the surface. Unless you've been running for 20 years and you've had a very knowledgeable coach, or you've been thinking really, really well about the game of running, and you've been applying these methods and you've started to peak and you've started to see the plateaus, you're just scratching the surface. And so if you can already run 5 minutes for 5K, or let's say 4 minutes for 5K, so we keep the same as what my example is, then you can run 4 minutes per kilometer and you can run a marathon in 2:48. I promise you it's possible. What it's a case of is you gradually increasing the interval time so that you're running at your goal marathon time, so at 4-minute pace, at the current 5K pace, as much as you can. So you're gradually moving that forward, and that might look initially something as simple as 6 times 1 kilometer in 4 minutes per kilometer. 60 seconds rest in between, gradually get used to that, and then you might up it. And so you're running a total distance of hard effort on the interval session, and keep it simple. Wednesday interval session, working on your speed. Weekend long run, working on your endurance and stamina. That 6 kilometer of hard work running at your target marathon pace, and that might be 6 months, 12 months, 2 years down the line, whatever you think is possible for you, and please aim high. Gradually increase those intervals. So 4 times 1.5 kilometers is going to be harder than 6 kilometers because the distance is longer per interval. Still have 60 seconds in between, always have that, so you teach your body to bring the heart rate down from what it was during the interval to what it is like when you're ready to go again. And you're basically teaching your body to say, you're going again in a minute, so you better get ready. And that quickly makes you so much fitter and so much better at recovering to go again. And it comes in really useful in races as well when you go into the red zone. Then you might do something like, okay, 3 times 2 kilometers. So you're still doing 6 kilometers of hard work, but that will be a harder session than 6 times a kilometer. Then what you might want to do is 12 times 500 meters. And what you'll realize from that is you can run faster. You can run faster than 4 minutes per kilometer. You're chopping it up more and there's more of them. So it's harder in a way that you're doing more intervals and you're running faster, but it's maybe psychologically easier for somebody to do 12 times 500 meters. You're still doing 6 kilometers of hard work. It might be psychologically easier to do that than 3 times 2 kilometers because the interval seems really long. Then what you want to do, you want to progressions from there. And again, if you're training towards the marathon, then eventually you want to be doing more volume at the pace that you want to be running marathon pace. So if that is turning from your 5K pace, 4 minutes per kilometer, 20 minutes for 5K, you want to turn that into a 2:48 marathon, gradually you're going to need to, you want to extend the amount of hard work that you're doing on interval day. And how does that then look when you're trying to improve and increase your long run? So if you're currently going out there and doing, let's say you're running 5K in 20 minutes, probably doing a long run of between an hour and an hour and a half, which is quite typical. Because why would you want to do any more if you're only going to be running hard for 20 minutes? And you know, time is important to us. Maybe you've not got that much time. If you're going to be serious at hitting your goal of 4 minutes per kilometer, 2:48 for the marathon is a serious time. The biggest indicator is that long run, and so you're going to need to be committed on that long run. And what that will start to look like is, okay, we're going out there for gradually longer initially, so an hour, then an hour and a quarter, then an hour and maybe 25 minutes, and then add 10 minutes on every week. Every 4th week bring it back so the body can freshen up, exactly the same with the interval session. And then you start to be specific with your long run. So you realize that the week, it's only 7 days, we're keeping it simple, Wednesday interval session, weekend long run. So we want compensation, we want super compensation from this long run. We want to improve from this long run. We want to be hitting it specifically at the marathon pace that we're trying to achieve. And that's the key. A lot of us will train at the pace that we're currently at. And that's good if we've got a longer time frame in mind. So we'll train at that pace, we'll gradually get faster, and then when the time comes when that 4 minute pace becomes comfortable for us, then we'll start to insert that into our long run. There's nothing wrong with that, but the intervals will get you there faster. So once you're ready and you've built up your long run to an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, then maybe we take an hour and a half. And what we'll do is we'll run for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we'll insert 5 times 5 minutes or 3 times 10 minutes at goal marathon time at 4 minutes per kilometer. And then at the end, we'll run the rest of it at the easy pace. So we'll get our heart rate back into zone 2. Between those 5 times 5 minutes, just 60 seconds again. So again, we're teaching the heart rate to come down very, very quickly. We're teaching to control the breathing and to be able to go again. We're also teaching, or we're also gaining the training stimulus of endurance, but we're keeping it specific as well. So you're doing more and more work each week at the goal marathon pace. And this, if there is any shortcuts in training, it's commitment, it's work ethic, it's discipline, but it's also doing as much training in the week as you possibly can. And it's mainly the Wednesday and the Sunday at goal marathon pace, at the pace that we want to achieve. Got to be gradual, you've got to be comfortable for you. So if you feel wiped out after 2 times 5 minutes and you're still doing 4 or 5, you're still doing a session of 4 or 5, so you've got 3 to go and you're absolutely wiped out, you've got to cut it short and you've got to listen to your body. But in short, the interval session gradually increases the total amount of hard work, and we're thinking about marathon pace, we're thinking of going on those shorter reps. So eventually those shorter reps will be 500 meters, then 1,000 meters, maybe 800 meters, 1,200 meters, 1,500 meters, 2K. We're starting to run those faster, but it's related to the marathon pace we want to do. So we might go 10% faster or 20% faster. You do the calculations. And then in the long run, we're not just hitting that endurance and stamina training stimulus, but we're also making it specific. And that period of time is gradually increasing as well. So what that might look after a few weeks or 6 weeks to 8 weeks, a couple of months, it might look something like, okay, we're going out there and running 25K. First 5K is comfortable, it's in zone 2. Middle 15K is at target marathon pace. And then the last 5K is back in zone 2, and we tried to bring that heart rate down, but it's a continuous run. What that's going to do for you is we're running a long run of 25K. There's only 17K to go before we're running the full marathon. And within that, we're teaching the body as this is not just a long run, but we're also holding marathon pace, 4 minutes per kilometer for 15K. And once you start to do that, and then you get that to that middle section to 18K, then 21K, then 25K, you're almost there. Because if you think of 25K at marathon pace, plus your 5K at the start and 5K, that's 35K long run, and a lot of it is at marathon pace, then you're almost there. And not only are you almost there to go for it, you also have the confidence that your body is ready and your mind is ready. You know you can hold much faster in your interval sessions than your marathon target pace, and you know that in a long run you can hold that for some time. So yeah, good luck. If you have any questions about that, it's about removing limiting beliefs, and it's about going for it and having a heart in the ring. And as I said in another video recently, if you go for it in the marathon and you succeed for 30K, and you hit your target pace for 30K or 33K or 36K, and then the wheels fall off, that's not a failure. That's a victory. That's you succeeding and knowing, okay, I hit it, and now I need to know, I know exactly what I need to do in training in order to be able to go that extra 12K or that extra 10K, whatever you didn't, when the wheels fell off. How do we correct that and go again? And that's the beauty of running. You've always got another shot at it. Good luck, and again, if you've got any comments, got any questions, pop them in the comments below, and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.